you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Alliance Forever. Today is a very special cast. It is the 200th cast on the channel. Thank you so much for the continued support and for your eyeballs for watching 200 casts. I can't believe I've been doing this for that long. So in honor of this milestone, I put it to every single one of you to vote for your choice of cast for the 200th, and obviously you can see who won. It was Phantom, and it was actually pretty close, surprisingly. Phantom got 37% of the vote. Setton's at second place with 31%. Literally anything else at 20%, and in last was Dual Gap with 13%. Kind of surprised that Dual Gap didn't get a little bit more votes, but again, Setton's and Phantom were very close, but Phantom eked it out just a little bit more. So again, thank you so much for all of those who participated. And again, thank you so much for just the continued support and, you know, continue watching FAF casts here on this channel. So let's go ahead and introduce our team, not teams, but our players. There are no team. Well, I guess there's teams, but you get what I mean. It is a Phantom cast. We kind of know how it goes. I'm going to introduce everyone starting at the 12 o'clock position, and then we'll speed it up a little bit so we don't have to wait for that 20-minute mark to see who's Phantom or not. Starting off in the northern position at the 12 o'clock position, we have Gary the Goat going first. Land. I guess everyone goes first. Land. He is an Aeon. He is in Light Oak Tan, and he is a 1400. To his northeast at the his southeast in the 2 o'clock position, we have Barger Burgos going as a UEF in Ruby Red at a 1500 rating. In the 4 o'clock position in the southeast, we have a Nubax going Cybran in, what is that? Is Batman Gray, and he is a 1400. In the 6 o'clock position, we have the Imperial Glade Prayer of Nick01. He is going Seraphim. In the 8 o'clock position here in Snow White, we have Noli Secunda, excuse me. He is in Snow White. He is a 1400. And if I didn't mention it, we have Nick 0 at 1500. I think I may have forgotten it, but anyways, last but not least, in the northwest at the 10 o'clock position, we have Cal Ubi. I think is how you say that. Another Seraphim here in this game. He is in Royal Blue. So for the Phantom game here, we have 1, 2, 3 Seraphim here located on the south to west side of the map, an Aeon in the north, a UEF in the northeast, and a Siren in the southeast. So all of the races are represented in this game. Now, of course, is the time to speed this game up. Probably just a couple of notches because, of course, everyone is going for ecoing. Everyone's trying to get some baseline factories, depending if they're going for... Well, I mean, everyone's going to go for Navy, but maybe they'll go for RASCOMs. Maybe they'll go for whatever the case may be. Maybe they'll go for early mass fab and then go to RASCOM. We will have to see as time goes on. And again, thank you so much. I just want to shout out again, thank you so much. This isn't the 1,000 subcast or video, but I really do appreciate it. And it means a lot to me, the continued support. As of recording, I'm at 930. So if you watch this cast way into the future, you can see when it was cast in terms of my sub count. But again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the comments, the likes, the voting on the all the different polls I have I put to everyone to do. Thank you. I just can't say it enough. Thank you so much, and I look forward to another 200 casts here on the channel. We do see a couple of naval facilities starting to be built by a couple of our players. It does look like Nick 01's going straight for T2 and then upgrading to T3 himself. Not electing to go for a facility, probably going to just focus on his comm. Maybe he'll just go for massive T3 gateways and just spam up some RASCOMs. Unfortunately, with the 3 Seraphim players in this game, for those of you who are familiar with my casting and my mod choice, for some dumb reason, I don't know why, and it's only on Phantom, Rascoms have the highlight mod as well. So if you see a bunch of highlighted little, the ACU symbol with the circle, the yellow circle around it, that is why. Don't know why that is a thing. Don't know how to fix it. So if anybody does know, I'd appreciate it. And if they don't, that's also okay, because I don't know how to fix it. But just as a food for thought here, while we are waiting for the players to kind of get up and going, we do see a lot of Team 1 frigates coming out here from a Nuke X. Let's take a look at the ecos, and it does look like, well, yeah, it's pretty much a Nuke X and Noli are going to be the Phantoms here in this game. One of them crossing above 500, one of them about 450, and everyone else at 300. We do see Cal at about 400, so maybe he is the Paladin. Paladin gets a slight boost in eco, not a lot, but again, anything is literally better than nothing. So take what you can get. We do see, of course, that does put Nick01 in a very tight position, sandwiched between two Phantoms. We see a lot that both Phantoms just kind of collide into that, sandwich player and kill him off very, very quickly. So that is going to suck for him if he doesn't make it out of dodge. There was a game, I think the last Phantom game I casted, there was a comm on a transport that almost made it out, but then died on his way north. Definitely was it was very close, about maybe 20 more seconds, and he would have been safe in friendly territory. Now you see what I'm talking about with that highlight mod being very, very, very annoying. I don't know why it's only Phantom. I don't know why it's only Seraphim. It just is. I don't know why. Whoever, if you know the mod developer, will you please petition them to assist me with this issue? I would greatly appreciate it. A lot of T2 headquarter facilities online here for the Eastern player here for a Nuke X. He just wants to pump out as many things as he can. Other PM me. He broke. Whoa. He broke. Hold on. Who broke? Did a Nuke X break? Yeah, look at that. A Nuke X broke with everyone. He's just going to attack right out of the gate. Says Noli to a Nuke X. I'm Phantom plus 153. He does accept the alliance, so both Phantoms know of one another. We can see on Noli he hasn't broken with anyone else, trying to keep his status a secret. But even before the 20-minute mark, attacking is very rare. Usually see about the 18-minute. But we do see some T2 gunships online here for a Nuke X going for those AE storages. Gonna sap the energy capacity here for Badger in. Sorry, Bragger, not Badger. I probably said Badger, but Bragger here in the northeast. We do see those T1 frigates fighting out. Is Seraphim versus Cybertech. Of course, there are some destroyers already online. Team Innocence Nick01 is kind of not going to feel good because of that. He's a mismatch of levels of technology, and he will be able to start spamming out some T2 destroyers here pretty soon. But he's going for T1 frigate spam. We'll see if that's able to hold off that incoming threat. The other the other Phantom hasn't broken off yet, which is good for Nick, because if he does, there's nothing over here. He's dead in the water there. And it's very rare that I slow this game down to 0 at 11, 12 minutes. So that should be a good indicator that it's going to be a very interesting game. Not as long of a normal sentence, a normal Phantom game, of course, but some Phantoms games do just take forever. So it's kind of nice to have a shorter one once in a while. Those gunships do get taken out by the Air Forces out from Nick01. One solitary T2 torp bomber on the way here from Gary the Goat to assist his teammate. Will he go for cruisers or will he go for destroyers? T2 Utashala is trying to stave off that incoming threat. Does have a decent range on them, but those units are staying out of it, obviously. T2 artillery spamming up here for Nick01 as well, and he is trying to do all that he can. Nick is like, help, 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 White, and unfortunately there, Nick, he is not there to that's gotta hurt. Oh man, that's just so abrasive, just flat out no. That made me laugh. We do see those facilities starting to go down here. The shield's trying to stave off any incoming threats, but it is not going well. That is a lot of frigate spam, destroyers as well. I smell you want to be a perma ban from my games. Sorry, he broke so early. Don't have units yet, says Cal UV. And that's not necessarily his fault because Phantoms don't usually break this early. Dude, I'm Phantom lol. Then don't assault me. that's probably fair. It made me laugh, but it could have just been like a no, just a flat deadpan no. But that was a joke. Oh, and he's speaking something in French. Aussie? I don't know if that's Aussie in terms of Australian or Aussie in terms of something else. Who knows? The T2 Naval headquarters is down here for Nick 01, and even though he's not even being sandwiched, being broken this early just hurts Nick here. He might try to make it out of dodge. If I was him, I would just leave. He does have ARAS in T3. He could just send his comm northward and be perfectly fine. He would lose the base, but at least he would still be alive. Where I'm from, where I'm from, I treat everyone the same. I don't care where you're from. I guess that's fair. Yeah, Nick probably took that a little. And I probably would have taken that a little personally. It made me laugh, but I shouldn't have probably laughed. Apologies here to Nick. It was kind of an involuntary laugh. I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't have laughed that. To be fair, Nully probably should have said just no or not going to happen or whatever the case may be. But that was probably a little bit more abrasive than you probably needed to be. So apologies out to Nick for laughing. We do see in the west T3 battleships already online and are trying to force back the combined naval fleets of a couple of innocents. We have the red player of Barager Burgos on the east trying to force back that navy outbound from Nuke. One of the good things coming out from this attack is the fact that the Phantom player of Nuke has to split his forces northward and westward, giving Nick a little bit of hope. But honestly, Nick, you probably should have left earlier. There you see, there's the move order into the water. You probably should have done that earlier. Those destroyers are online. They have torpedoes as well, so got to get out of dodge. I don't think a Nuke can see him. He can see some icons, but doesn't know who is who or what is what. And that's definitely in favor here for Nick for the time being. We have artillery trying to hold back those destroyers and those PD as well, trying to do their job. They are doing a decent amount when the destroyers come into range, but the massive amount of shots inbound. The cruisers for the Cyberans can shoot at ground targets. Their accuracy is terrible. But again, you don't need accuracy when you're facing off against a shield. So there's that. But the shields are down. The emitter should be the main target. One pops online just at the nick of time. But Nick's 01's base is not going to feel good. A couple of RASCOMs already moving into the base for Nick. It does look like they are planning maybe some naval factories. I think that's... Oh, who is that? Maybe that is them. I don't know who that's for, but that's somebody. We do see in the west the white fleet in the west pushing back the combined fleet of the Innocents, and that is a lot of Hathums, which means that could be a lot of nukes. And Nick, to his credit, is still fine. I probably would have collapsed by now, but he is not giving up, trying to spam out anything and everything he can. Looks like he's going to go for a massive T. Is that not? Are those Nathas? I think those are Nathas. The symbols are very hard. The little images for the different units. Sometimes they're easy to tell. Sometimes they're not. That one, it looks like an Awasaw bomber, but it's not. So I think I would bet money it's probably a Natha. No, I'm not giving anybody money if I was wrong. That's a phrase. Don't you be like, oh, I was right. He has to give me money. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And it's an ASF. Okay, it looked like a Natha. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, and there is the collapse. Nick 01, you probably should have gotten out of there sooner rather than later. And he's not giving up, though. He's going to stay here. He's going to move actually to the west and get out of that attack range. He is not. I think he's going to die down there. He should have left. He could have tried to, fight up here and just, lived off the safety of his teammates. But I think he wants to try to keep his territory. And those RASCOMs are going down. Does Nuke know where the comm is? Well, he knows some things. If he has a different mod, probably doesn't have all that highlight on. You can walk to middle, will not stop. Says, oh, that's nice. That is kind of nice that a Nuke said that. Says, hey, if you want to walk to the middle, that's fine. I'm not going to stop you. I do appreciate that. What do you mean? I mean, like, you can leave, and I won't kill you, is essentially what that means. And in the east, that attack is petering out very quickly here for Team Innocence. Bragger. I want to say Badger for some reason, but I don't know why. It just looks like Badger. In the northwest, we see the base here for Team Innocence player of Kyle UB, and he is actually killed off by artillery fire from that Hathum. That means everything here for the blue player is going to be dead and gone. There it goes, and that is an Innocent gone. 2 Phantoms remain and 3 Innocents as well, and those Seraphim SACUs and that commander are fleeing. They're fleeing over here. They should be going north. I don't think you can walk to middle. Will not. Yeah, that's what he and that nothing after that. It looks like. So again, Nick 01 has been not eliminated, but he's essentially been knocked out of the game for the time being. It does look like he's just chasing down those SACUs for some reason. They're going to spam out some T3 facilities. I think they're T3. And I have some E storage, says Nick. Maybe he's just going to build teleporter and teleport himself out of that. That's that's not going to be good. Gotta get out of there. Torpedoes inbound. That is a kill on Nick 01. There he goes. He was not getting out of that situation. Probably should have walked north, took the offer from a Nubex, and now 2 Innocents are dead. It is 2 Innocents versus 2 Phantoms, and again, Phantoms cannot win the game as a team. Save your allies, says a Nubex. But that is definitely the message is a little late there from a Nubex. And now the game kind of goes quiet for a little bit. We do see attacks in the northwest here for Noli, and Noli has taken the entire western edge, and the Phantom player of Nubex has taken the southeastern corner, leaving the Innocents essentially with just about maybe 30% of the map. Not a lot of territory. A lot of the outlying mexes have been taken out by one person or the other, probably some strap bombers or whatever the case may be. We missed earlier focusing on other things. That is a lot of torp bombers, though. Some of them did die in that explosion from Nick 01's comm, but he should have left. He should have left. T4 Tempest coming online. Will definitely assist with defenses, but that is a lot of firepower to chew through. T2 destroyers intermixed with T1 frigates, intermixed with, of course, the Hathum T3 battleship with nuclear capabilities on board. Shots constantly ringing in from that heavy battleship. Takes out I think it's 8,000 per shot is the damage outbound from that Tempest. There it goes. We'll check here with this one. There it goes. That's 14,000. Now at 6. Yep, it is 8,000 damage. So that is going to provoke the fleet here for the Phantom player of Noli. Is he doing anything interesting here on his island? No, not as of yet. I don't see any bombers. I don't see any YOLOs. I don't see any chickens. I don't see any sort of that. In the east, what's a Nubex up to? Just massive amounts of Navy. Nothing, essentially nothing else on that main island, just spamming out those RASCOMs or that eco in the north. An SMD, but that's really about it. Same kind of thing with spamming out Navy. Of course, same thing in the north. So no, oh, that's an SMD. Can't thought it was a nuke, but you know, SMD is better than nothing. The battleships are being taken out by that solitary Tempest. The Tempest actually not being focused. That is definitely a mistake here from the Phantom player of Noli. Move comm, says Nick01 to Gary. Where's the comm? Oh, it's right there. He's in the middle of a lot of shields and a lot of mass. Actually, not a lot of shields. A lot of mass fabs. That's probably a good idea, because he would die if he's stuck there. And of course, the Hathum is focused on the battleships. That would have been a kill on that one, but that one will die here for Noli. And there's not that many left here. And there's a lot of battleships that have been spammed up from these facilities. They are not stopping. I would like to see a couple of T1 frigates or something, but there goes that mass fab farm. That would have annihilated that comm. Good thing he moved out of range. There's a lot of mass gone. Ugh, says Gary. Yeah, that's one of the reasons people don't build mass fab farms, is literally for that solitary reason. I would love to see some cruisers online just to combat all those torp bombers, and they're inbound targeting the battleships, not the big one. They're going after the smaller ones first. Don't know what Noli is thinking about. All players have been revealed. 22 minutes in this game. Well, everybody knows who everybody is at this point. David Mori has half the map, says a Nubex to Braga Burgos. And it does look like a Nubex actually assisting his opponent of the Innocents because he's fearful of the control that his frenemy, the Noli Segunda Phantom, will have. And he is correct. If he's able to secure that northern island, that will be half of the map owned by one player, the Phantom. That is a lot of mexes, a lot of territory. Could put a lot of things hidden around the map, so definitely does not want his frenemy of that Phantom Anubex to get that. I'm talking about Anubex in reference to Noli. We have some frigates coming in from the east, not going to do a whole lot. All of those battleships have essentially been taken out. The fleet has been wiped out for the time being, but I fear, or at least I fear for Anubex, that there might be a fight coming on the cards here pretty soon. Hey, I'm not fighting both alone while you build up. Says Noli, says to allies. Hey, I'm not fighting both alone while you build. Oh, he's going to fall. Okay, I see what's going on. Essentially saying, look, I'm not going to attack the Innocents if you're just going to sit there and bulk up and then attack me and then I die. And that is the rock, paper, scissors thing you have to think about in this game. Is that, again, the Phantoms can't win on their own, so eventually they have to fight one another. Usually the Phantoms attack together and then break up, but if the one Phantom is far superior in numbers and in game enders, whatever the case may be, the other one will ally with the Innocents, the remaining ones at that, and then go to war with the, not the overpowered, but the most popular target would be the word that I would use, the HVT, high value target. And in terms of ecos, Anubex is keeping lockstep with his frenemy of Noli. We do see Bragger at 500, and then Gary, even with that hit to his mass faps, is at 300. It's not terrible, and he is spamming out more and more facilities as time goes on. Team Innocent might have a decent fleet here if they're able to combine forces. Of course, they're always wary of the, wow, that is a lot of frigates fleet. Oh, wow. How many? 361 frigates. I want to keep that, just state that as a 361. Not 200, not 150, not even 250, 360. And it's growing by the second. That is it's almost at the 370. That is a ridiculous amount of frigates. That is so many. Usually Phantoms just spam out those battleships, whether they be Salem's, Galaxies or Almonds or the Hathums or the Summits. Just, that's so many. And there's multiple groups of them, and that is, if he sends all of those in, that might just wipe out at least half the map at a minimum. Just the frigates, not the destroyers, not the gunships, not the battleships, not the anything else. Just the frigates will probably wipe out the Phantom of Noli alone or the combined forces of the Innocents. That is so many. So many. We do see a couple of those Neptune classes, those battle cruisers in the mix. Love to see those. Would love to see more Summits, though. But he does have some shield boats, those bulwarks as well. And that's a lot of T3 naval headquarters. He wants to make sure he has access to that long-term. Atlantis, love to see them. Very useful aircraft carriers. Can build their own air units and can submerge. And they are a beast with torpedoes. It is not an all-in-one, but it is very, very useful. We see, of course, the Tempest experimental battleship. I don't think... I feel like a while ago you could actually build... okay, you can. That's what I thought. You can actually build T1 and T2 naval units out of this Tempest. So essentially, it's very similar to the Atlantis, except it can build naval units instead of air units. Definitely unique. I don't see anybody using that ability. I think the building prevents it from moving, which is why a lot of people don't use it, or essentially everyone doesn't use it. And when they changed the fat point to where you could produce while moving, people just used it constantly. Well, a lot of people use it now. Not everyone, but I see a lot more people using it since the update back in mid-October, I think is when that released. Lots of aircraft carriers here for that Phantom player of Noli, and he has a Awasa bomber online. I always think about how to pronounce it before I say it instead of just saying it. We see a YOLO under construction here for himself. Nick complaining about this boring game. Gary the Goat says, smiley face, Anubex is the biggest person who doesn't want to engage, most experienced, but doing nothing. So it's just making the comment that Nubex is very familiar with phantoms. Well, I'm not allies with every innocent, says Noli. It does look like Nubex is allies with everyone but Gary. And actually, I'm just going to speed it up a little bit because he's right. So, not really a whole lot going on. Well, I'm not allies with everyone. MNO, innocent already. What? MNO, innocent. I don't know what that means. Anyway, let's see who Gary's aligned with. Just the innocents. Bragger is aligned just with the one phantom. And then Nully is allied with the both phantoms and none of the innocents. And so, again, the unfortunate thing of being allied is you have full vision of where everything is. So it's, again, a double-edged sword. Has about 5,000 airships yet. One carrier, says Nick. Not a single one. What? Airships? Oh, just talking about air forces and whatnot. The downside with giving your opponent full vision is they know where everything is. So if they want to just be like, oh, I'm just doing stuff over here, and like, oh, I want to know what this person over here is doing. Oh, I have full vision. I know what they're doing. Building SMD, da-da-da-da. What's going on over here? Always going maybe air grid or just getting some more energy. Always going for mass fabs. So that kind of thing. You can see everything. It does look like Gary the Goat, of course, is not allied with the Phantom, either of the Phantoms, which means his biplanes are being noticed. He has to get vision. Wow, you letting them make YOLO, says Gary. Yep, the YOLO is almost completed here at a 10,000 hit points out of 12,000. So very close. It's above 75%, obviously in the green, but close to 90. Did not see that, says Nubex. And yeah, Nubex not paying attention to what his Phantom buddy is doing because he can see what he's doing. He's just not paying attention. Definitely a missed opportunity there. He probably would have attacked if he knew about it sooner, as offered you an alliance. Except I forget that does happen if I am, focused on one player. Obviously, my decisions don't affect any sort of the game, but it's always fun to just do what I think I would do, which would be accept a large fleet of frigates, and it's just going to be frigate wars. It's not going to be battleship wars. It's not going to be destroyer wars. It's not going to be game ender wars. It's just going to be T1 spam for the 200th cast. Oh, and one YOLO. The frigate spam and one YOLO. That is a very different Phantom game, to be sure. But you don't kill me, they make fight. And there goes a nuke outbound here from that YOLO. Where is it going? Going into the north. That player of Gary the Goat has not a lot of SMD. Has a couple of them loaded, but needs to spam out more, and more of them need to make more hives. Of course, all of the players in Phantom get access to hives, or everyone would just pick Cybran and be done with it. So a noob just sits there the whole game, allied doing nothing, then waits for two innocents to attack me. The fleets are moving in here for both innocent players. It is, again, a lot of those frigates, and a lot of frigates, and a lot of frigates, and a lot of frigates. Everyone just spamming it. He will stack 40 strats on you, says Nick. Why are you guys allied with him, says Noli. I mean, don't know. That's just, they don't want to deal with him, I guess, would be the reason I would be allied with him. But again, it is dangerous. The longer you're allied with the Phantoms and you give them time to build up, the harder it is to kill them off. Another nuke is inbound. This time still going for that same location, going straight on top of those SMD. One's going to load. We have more systems over here. This one is loaded, so one more SMD. One more YOLO will not get by. How many times loaded, says Nick to Gary, and that is none now. But he is getting more assistance as time goes on. Of course, the attack does commence in the northwest. That YOLO is ready to fire another shot. There it goes. It is inbound, and it is going for that same location once again. It is not stopping, and those are being loaded as quickly as they can be. One of them does get loaded. Is it going to be saved? No, that one is not going to finish in time. Everything moves south to get out of range of that YOLO. He knows it's going to be dead in the water. Massive amounts of torpedoes are inbound from those bombers. I'm going to slow it back down so we can witness the glory of that YOLO. And there it goes. Kaboom. Does that initial shockwave and then does the full shockwave after that. GG, says Gary. And essentially with that move, there is now realistically one innocent in contention for this game. It is the 1500 rated player of Bragger. He is in Ruby Red versus the Snow White Phantom player of Nully and a Nubex in Batman Gray. YOLO going out once again. Where's it going? Going for the middle of that fleet. And no, the fleet can't move out of range. Oh, that's going to hurt. The sim speed, -4, the sim speed. It is some, look at all the everything over there. That's a lot of particles and whatnot moving around. I'm just going to turn it a little bit so we can see how that YOLO missile is going to do. There it goes. It is inbound and kaboom. I don't like the fact that it's all the way up here. It should be landing right here, so it's actually nice to see that explosion. That's what it really looks like. This is what I look at from the side. It's not the prettiest thing, but it's very pretty up here. Gary's like, what's with the slowness? Everyone, some weird action happened. And in the east, Nick does attack. Going to start chipping away at that defensive line here for Nully. How's that YOLO doing? It's doing perfectly fine. It's still loading, and it's still firing. It will not stop. That fleet has been decimated for the Innocents. The last remaining fleet here for Gary, trying to do what he can. YOLO is inbound, going after that main base, and that's where he's going to be sent for a while. SMDs have constantly been loading in the interim and been built as well. A Nubex is pretty close to where that nuke will land. A nuke his base is useless. There's they'll choose different targets. We have 1, 2, essentially 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. You knew about the YOLO for how long, and you haven't done more SMD? That's kind of weird. There are more SMD. Oh, there's more SMD over here being built. I do love the base that it's and more SMD over here, and more SMD over here. So never mind. He built a lot of SMD. Just not all in the same location, which is fine because you like to spread them out a little bit. Definitely an interesting strategy. Definitely works as long as your opponent doesn't go for that. And then based on the attack order from... Actually, the YOLO actually didn't... Oh, no, it's going for this. Oh, it's going... Oh, he noticed. He noticed, so that's not going to work. In the northwest, that fleet has been annihilated and is being annihilated as we speak by those torp bombers. Again, we'd love to see those cruisers in the mix, but yeah, that's a lot of particles, and that's... The slowness is back up to 0, which is good, but just that initial attack just really hurt the sim speed. Multiple of those harm stations are being built for defensive measures. Awasaw bomber inbound for a lot of flak fire. Gonna hit the middle of that formation and kill off a decent amount of boats. Doesn't get up into first veteran seat, but it's halfway up to his first one. And torpedo bombers now diverted from the northwest to the southeast, or the middle of the map. There are some ASFs gathered here for a Nubex, but that is a ton of bombers. No, they went for bombers, and Team Phantoms, a Nubex, went for Trident class frigates, T1. You can just see the spam, and it's ripping through those torpedoes. It's just having 360 frigates does amount to a lot of AA, to be fair. It just takes a while. We have that bomber dealing with the attack in the west. Love to see that. He split some of his fleet off from the main group. Has a couple of those those mermaids, kind of obscuring all of that intelligence gathering. And they're going after the aircraft carriers. Great move, wanting to eliminate the air capacity for his opponent. YOLO does land, takes out a ton of those boats. And a lot of those frigates will be killed off to battleship fire. Very easy push for you, this Nick, to Nully. And again, torpedo bombers constantly raining in, going after those frigates. They've killed off one of the aircraft carriers. There is still a bunch more left. Don't think they'll get a lot of damage down. Maybe they're going to go for the T3 Naval Headquarters, but with all that torpedo fire, I don't think it's going to matter. But bomb landing on top of that, not the best idea there. But of course, that won't kill off the aircraft carrier. Actually, will kill it off eventually, but friendly fire isn't the best thing to do. YOLO's still going to be firing. Does a Nubex have a response to that? Just an SMD all day, every day. Going to land right here. The SMD guarding this position have been taken out. Bring also sub, says Nick 1 to Noli. So Nick assisting Noli, and then we had a Nubex assisting Bragger for a little bit. Bragger, have you built anything in the interim? A lot of SMD, a couple of Continentals. We have see another base over here in the northeast. Don't see much anything. Of course, the innocent player of Gary's kind of been knocked up for a while. The focus a lot is going to be between these two Phantom players. The Innocents kind of just staying out of it. We even see just allied between the Noli, between both of the Innocents and a Nubex doing the exact same thing. So the only two players fighting are the two Phantoms. This is the exact situation that the Innocents want to be in. Let them fight it out, let them hash it out, and then go from there. And with all of those Tort Bombers, they're going to rip through all those defenses. T3AA trying to be spammed up. We have those harm stations just being annihilated by counter torpedo spam from the sky. And the frigates just trying to do what they can to eliminate those bombers. They're doing a decent job, though. And that YOLO will not stop firing. It's going for this position now. The comm of a Nubex is nearby. There is no SMD, and that is... he is in the water. He does have teleporter and laser. Very interesting. If your comm dies, all of your units die, and that is definitely a double-edged sword there. I don't see any sort of just constantly focus on that on that YOLO. Maybe the YOLO will die and build another one. Who knows? And there goes that YOLO. It's inbound. Strap bombers have emerged from their coffins of those aircraft carrier command class. The comm is now giving orders to move. Oh, will he get out of range? Oh, there goes the RASCOM. They're fleeing. They're fleeing. Will they get out of dodge? Actually, a couple of those RASCOM actually... okay, one dies. Two die. And he did take a hit, and teleporter has been initialized. And he's going back up to his main base underneath SMD protection. Probably the best idea. Now let's go. Push. Wait, Nick says push. Well, indeed. Now let's go. Those SMD were up since 10 minutes. T5 hives. There's a Nubex 2, Nick 01. Yeah, imagine T5 hives. That'd be ridiculous. T2 hives are pretty crazy. But there go the fleet of battleships for Noli. 40 of them to be exact. I think he has more built. No, it's just 40. And it does look like the invasion of the Innocents has happened, but can't break in other people's bases, says Noli to Gary. And the ally with Gary has been broken. And there it goes. Attack is inbound, but we have T3 Yasau, those torpedo hunters. Yeah, hunters are online and ripping through those frigates. We have the bomber as well with assisting T2 Tort bombers, just ripping through all those frigates as well. On battleships, move front, one's back, says Nick to Noli. And Nick is still helping his Phantom opponent. Of course, if Nick, he dies and his innocent team wins, he still wins. But maybe he's just kind of partial to Noli for the time being. Those battleships are being stopped by the amount of battleships coming out from Team Phantom's Nubex. I always want to say Team 2 for Phantom and Team 1 for Innocent, but that's just, of course, the almost, 180 something times that I've said that phrase. We have artillery raining in. Of course, more RASCOMs going down. Perfect nuke, says Nick. Almost perfect nuke. And yeah, that YOLO is still getting up there. 500,000 mass killed so far with those YOLO super nukes, and that's this spam base is going to be dealt with here pretty soon. Those SACUs are just going to keep building, keep just hanging out there. And that attack from the Innocents is petering out very quickly. They need more cruiser support. We do see some coming out from the Ruby Red player of Bragger to the northeast. And that YOLO is still firing, going after that other Phantom player. And those SMD are being built pretty quickly, not too fast. I would probably say not fast enough, probably. I don't see any sort of the Innocents are starting to break through, but again, T3 Yasau is just spamming anything and everything they can. Counter T2 torpedo bombers inbound here from Bragger as well, and that YOLO will not stop firing. Once it finishes a missile, it'll launch it, and that's why you want to give it multiple orders. Essentially, like once it's loaded, it's ready to go. because you're distracted, busy doing everything else. Of course, you're trying to micro literally everything on this side of the map. We do see more Team 1 spam facilities being established for him as well. That is not going to break through for the time being, but it's not doing nothing. It's doing something, just not nothing. Another one. Wow, that one loaded and fired even before that one lands. Loading very, very quickly. You can see just how fast. Look at that thing. Look at all that support. Look at it. Look at all the support. It loads that missile very, very quickly. We're at 0 speed, so it's not slow. That is actual, like, how fast it is going. And we have some of those Atlantis inbound. They have surfaced from the depths of the water, and they have T3. They have some AA cannons on board, but the Yasaws are going to start ripping into that hull of that Atlantis. They have their own torpedoes, and they don't have torpedo defense. Very interesting. But there goes the first Atlantis. It's down. It's not the all-encompassing, all-powerful sub carrier, but this the Yasaws. This the amount of firepower is just overwhelming. The second one is down. Launches whatever aircraft he has, and it's going to die as well. All those Atlantis are dead. How much mass is currently on the field, I wonder? 667,000. Just just 2/3 of a million, because sounds about right. 44 minutes. Kind of surprised there isn't more, but 2 players were essentially knocked out within 20-ish minutes, 25 minutes, and a third player was, 2 players killed, 1 player knocked out. So essentially 3 of the 6 players knocked out relatively before 30 minutes. And that YOLO will not stop firing. That thing is just going and going and going. We haven't talked about mass here. 1.1K here for Noli, 1.6K here for Nubex, 900 for Gary, and 800, almost 850 for Bragger. So combined, both Innocents are matching, or I wouldn't say barely beating, but about matching their opponent of the Phantoms. So they're doing pretty good together. Individually, not as much, but they are Innocents. They don't have that eco boost, so can't blame them in that regard. And the YOLO missile gets through. Oh, this is going to hurt. Oh, it's going to hurt a Nubex. All those SMD are down. Lol, says Nick to Noli. It lands. They got a ton of infrastructure. Team Phantoms, a Nubex has been severely wounded. Another YOLO, of course, will come in because it's just on auto fire. We have, what is this? We have Strat Bombers inbound. We have Strat Bombers inbound for a Nubex. I want to click on him. I'm going to target like the middle one, hit T. Go back to, let's go back to, can we go back to full vision while I'm tracking? Yes, we can. That's very convenient. There we go. Go back to full speed. That's what I was looking for. Bombers are inbound for those targets. Actually, target, not targets. Going after that YOLO nuke launcher. The bombs are away, impacting the shields, ripping through that shield very, very quickly. And it will land and kill off this YOLO. They were actually building a second one, because why the heck not? You already have one. You might as well do another one. That's essentially the... What is that? That's the Paragon philosophy, but it does look like they're not being shot at. Maybe, oh, there they go. They were inbound. There's no AA. The Yasaws do have AA cannons on board, but they have to be not submerged. They have to desubmerge. They have to emerge out of the water. That's the word. The amount of AA coming off of those bombers is enough to deal with some of the ASFs. There is more coming in. Gets Phantom, sits back all game. Well, trying to win, says a Nubex. And most of those Strat Bombers actually make it out, very surprisingly. I think that's one of the first Strat Bomb attacks I've seen where they go in, essentially not even being noticed, come in, take out their target, and then leave without a whole lot of losses. That's very good. But it does look like a couple of bombers will be killed off by those ASF. What? What's going on? They're not... Did they ally once again? Oh, they just allied. Oh. They're still attacking. That's very funny. Anyway, I was like, why isn't they dying? Huh. And now everything is quiet again. At least in the southern side of the map. Both players going to rebuild once again. And Gary is allied with everyone. Bragger is allied with everyone. Everyone is allied with everyone. Everyone's taking a little break. Of course, see the spam of those torpedoes going after those Tiger Sharks, but because the attack order has been issued They won't stop with the torpedoes. You're going to lag the game. Stop it. That's so many torpedoes. ASF shooting a carrier says, wait, what? Where? I've never seen that. Where is that? Wait, hold on. Where is that happening? Oh, yeah, right here. Because there's air units inside, I think is why I can hit it. That's very funny. Yeah, I've never seen that either. Very, very funny. Let's speed it up back again. Everyone's allied with everyone. That's never fun. The YOLO here for the Phantom player of Noli is being rebuilt, and he's building 2 YOLOs at the same time. Not finishing one and then going to the other one. Finish doing 2. One is a little bit above half. Okay, he's reclaiming the first one. Okay, I was like, what are you doing? You always build one and then you build the other one. You don't build both at the same time, crazy person. Unless you have the eco for it, which you don't. This is Phantom, so I mean, crazy things happen. The absolute horde of T1 Tiger Shark attack submarines. How many? Is that more than 300? Nope, 269. But still, see, this is why I love Phantom games, because you just get so many units. You just get so many units. Units that you wouldn't be able to build, the amount of units you wouldn't be able to build in a normal game, just because the sheer amount of mass you're spending is astronomical when you have to focus on other things in regular games. But Phantom games are just splurge. Just whatever you want to build, just build 1,000 of it. You want to build 1,000 T1 mech marines and have them on your island? Go for it. You're not going to win, but go for it. Tell SACU's Gary will probably go for Paragon soon. There's a Nubex to Noli. Don't see any Paragon yet. It is an interesting move for Phantom games, is going for Para. We do see some donuts being built here for Gary. We see a Mavor being built here, and it nope, never mind. Did he mean to build that? They haven't won you a single game. Waste all mass, put all mass in destroyer. Value for mass. I get the argument from both of them. I think I would side with Nick, though, because you have torp defense, torpedoes, and you have some way to attack other boats in terms of the main cannon. So it's I don't know. It also depends on which destroyer we're talking about. If you're talking about the Seraphim one, oh yes, just all day, every day, that Seraphim destroyer. Salem's are nice, but you don't really need to worry about the lake thing because the islands are very small anyways. And he's going to build the second. Okay, so he just took this one, bundled it into that one, and then is building another one, because why not? Why not have 2? Because why not? That will be his 3rd one built, the 3rd one being on the site of the first one. That's a lot. That is a lot of mass. Whereas we saw a game, I think it was a week or 2 ago, with 2 YOLOs flanking a Paragon. That was multiple players. This is one player on one island right next to each other, and everyone and their mother can see him building both of them, and they're doing nothing. No one is doing anything about this. I love how there's just air scouts flying around even though you don't need to. How can people not have 5,000 eco by now, says Nick. He's like, I just want to be in the game. I got mine bombed badly. I mean, that's not 10. I got my it's not down to 500. 500 what? It's 15. Oh, wow. Yeah, look at that. It was bombed at the 500. He built 2 YOLOs on 500, 600 mass a second? What? I did speed it up a little bit. There it is. 2 YOLOs on a line. And I feel like I have the thumbnail for the video. The Nuke is launching 2 YOLOs for 200 casts. If this is a better shot. No, that's a good shot. Go. Hey, there we go, right there. Right there. That's a good shot of him. That is so many. And you can see just the missile slowly rising. Can't really see it because of the angle on this one, but this one is also slowly rising. This one's actually almost loaded. That is. Oh, launching both at the same time. Gary now noticing that he has 2. Oh, you didn't notice that like 2-3 minutes ago when I made a comment about it? I mean, you have full vision on all of your opponents. You should probably just look at their base from time to time. Did anything break? Yes, the 2 Phantoms broke. And the Innocents are going to just sit here. Oh, you're not going to do dual nuke at the same time? Oh, I want to get a nice cool shot of both launching at the same time. Oh, bad. Going after the fleet. The fleet is engaging. We kill white, says Gary. Nuke his carrier. Just nuke everything. Team Innocent, do you have anything to combat 2 YOLOs? No. Anything over... You were building a Maver. That could have worked, but you decided to go for something else. Donut. Only 2 donuts that I see. SMD spam. Yeah, it's not... That's not going to work. Dual YOLOs against Navy isn't going to work. The comm of a Nubex is in the corner, and we have a couple of squadrons of T2 torp bombers going after these RAS comms here in the south edge of the map. We have a sonar platform providing some stealth and some radar stealth and some sonar stealth. I mean, that's, yeah, stealth field? Yeah, stealth field. There's another one inbound going for the rear, going after the carriers. That's going to really hurt his air production. Bunch. Oh. That's 100 bombers. That's 100 bombers. That's a lot. You missed some radars. Wait, who said that? You missed some radars, Nick to null. By the way, you missed them. Okay. 2 SMD have been shot out of that. 1, 2. So 2, 3. Oh, sorry, 3, 4. 5 maybe. But he's launching dual YOLOs. That's a lot of nukage. Not really assisted them probably as much as he should. He did lose a lot of his eco, to be fair. So he's probably trying to spam up his eco at the same time, not focus on YOLOs that much. Careful, hit bomber, put all subs on harms. They die easy. That's... how many do you have now? How at 600! We were talking about earlier 300 and, almost 400 frigates. 600. In this case, 615. Not like over-exaggerating. 600 torpedoes inbound, and there go those bombers. And unfortunately here for those YOLOs, that's 100 bombers. Even if you kill off half of them, they are getting through those shields. And there goes one. And they killed the hives, not the YOLO. Teleport in here from the SACU, kills off one of them, kills off 2 of them. The AoE is actually doing a decent amount of damage to that YOLO. Firing still coming in. Oh, missiles are inbound, and it kills off the second YOLO. Essentially friendly fire kills off that second YOLO. Lol, says Nolita Secunda. That has got to hurt. Both YOLOs are down here for Noli. That is essentially everything that he has. He does have a decent navy, but with all those yasaos. But the 600 gold. Let's get him. Yeah, let's get him, says Gary. Go get him. That is 623. Try harder, says Nick to Gary. 3v1. So much fun, says Noli. This game is easy win now. I'm just chilling, says Gary. He has his fleet in the northwest. Very different very different Phantom game. Of course, that's what we love to see. Different games. Having the same game be played 1,000 times isn't really that enjoyable. So having those troll games, having those little games, having those I'm just going to try something dumb and see if it works kind of game. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but at least you had fun doing it. And it does look like Noli might just throw in the towel. His forces are retreating. And Nick, Nick still has a decent fleet, but the 600 subs are inbound. And it is not glad it takes 3 hard Phantom players to take me down, says Noli. I've been watching YouTube one half the game, mate. I've been watching, yeah, it's funny. Gary's just watching YouTube. Hey, look, this video's going to go on YouTube. Too bad he wasn't casting. He watching one of my other games. He control Ks, says I'm out, and now it's a 2v1 scenario here. Essentially, it was game over for him anyways, and the replay is over. I think it looks like Nick just left. Not Nick, sorry. A Nubex left. Having fun. And that's just... there's not going to be enough support, I feel like. You could maybe say Nick could have been it. Not Nick. A Nubex could have been able to hold off. But you had, again, I reiterate, the 672 the torpedo subs, the attack subs that he had. Those harms will do a lot of damage, but they're getting ripped apart. There's a lot of harms in here, to be fair, though. Nubex had 78 of them, a lot of them on that northern side. Had some Corsairs as well. But I don't think a Nubex really would have lasted long enough to win that game. You had some donuts. The amount of facilities being built by Bragger. He didn't go for Mavar. I was very disappointed in that. We saw it built probably close to yellow, but didn't commit to it. A lot of SMD, of course, to protect against those dual YOLOs. But the fleet was going to be inbound from the south. There was a lot of T2 sub-killers, those Barracudas. Don't know why they have a different name, but whatever. Again, an argument could be made that a Nubex could. There is a percentage chance he would have won or could have won, but there are some strategic missile subs over here as well. So that was going to tax his SMD as well. And he wasn't really, he had none loaded. Yeah, if those got loaded, even if a couple of those got loaded, it would have been enough to take out the base. That realistically would have been it. But let me know down in the comments. I mean, again, there is a claim to be made that a Nubex could have won that game. But again, with the defeat of Noli, with the, the defeat of Noli, essentially that was game for the, it's a losing game. It's a survival game at that point for Nubex. But let me know down in the comments what you felt about the game. Again, I want to shout out to every single person. Doesn't matter if you subbed. Doesn't matter if you've ever commented. Doesn't matter if you've ever shared the video. Even if this is the first video you're ever watching, thank you so much. I would greatly appreciate it, and I will see all of you in the next 200 casts.